Jimmy Butler changed everything in Golden State. They've been on a roll ever since Jimmy Butler showed up. 13 wins and only 1 loss when Butler suits up. That's a 13-1 record with him on the floor. And it's not like they're just squeaking by in these games. They've turned into a different team. Before Butler got there, they were sitting in 10th place in the Western Conference with a 25-26 record. Now, 10 games, over 500. 10. That's a huge turnaround in just over a month. Since Butler's first game on February 8th, Golden State has been on fire. They've won 6 straight at one point, and Butler's personal streak sits at 11 straight wins when he's played. He's averaging 17.6 points per game, and that's not just empty scoring. He's also putting up 5.7 rebounds and 5.7 assists per game. Plus, he's getting 1.3 steals each night. That kind of all-around production has given Golden State exactly what they've been missing. The defense has also looked sharper. Butler's energy on that end has been contagious. The Warriors' opponents are averaging fewer points per game since Butler's debut. There's a real toughness to their perimeter defense that wasn't there earlier this season. He's helping them lock in, and it shows in their results. Steph Curry's been loving the new setup. Since Butler joined, Curry's numbers have taken a jump. He's averaging 29.9 points per game, along with 9 assists and 5.9 rebounds. And his shooting has been red hot. He's knocking down 42.4% of his three-point shots over these 14 games. Adding Butler to the mix has allowed Curry to settle back into his normal rhythm. He's not forcing anything. He's playing his game, and the results have been incredible. It's not just about scoring either. Curry's steals are up, sitting at 1.5 per game. You can see the focus on both sides of the ball. With Butler handling more of the dirty work, Curry's been able to stay fresh late in games. He's got a spring in his step again. As a team, the Warriors have gone from a group scratching and clawing for a play-in spot to looking like they can win the West. 13 wins and 1 loss with Butler says a lot. They were a borderline team before, and now they're sitting pretty. Butler's presence has stabilized everything. The rotations make more sense. The scoring is balanced. And the defense, it's been the best it's looked all season. Even Draymond Green has benefited from Butler's arrival. He's been playing with more energy, and his role looks clearer. Butler brings that edge, and Green's been feeding off it. Both of them are hard-nosed defenders, and together, they're making life miserable for opposing wings. The Warriors' team defense has gone up a level, and when you look at Butler's efficiency, it stands out. He's not just scoring 17.6 points per game, he's doing it without forcing shots. He's picking his spots, letting the game come to him. That's made everything smoother for the Warriors. They don't need him to score 30 points every night. They just need him to play his game, and he's doing exactly that. The chemistry has clicked faster than anyone expected. It's only been 13 games, but it feels like Butler's been with Golden State for years. The team's assist numbers have improved since his debut. Everyone's moving the ball, and the offense looks way less stagnant. Butler's 5.7 assists per game have played a huge role in that. He's making quick decisions, finding open shooters, and keeping the tempo high. Another thing that jumps out is how they're closing games now. Before Butler arrived, Golden State struggled in fourth quarters. They couldn't hold leads, and they let games slip away late. Since he's come on board, they've been closing strong. That 6-game winning streak wasn't full of blowouts. Some of those wins were tight late, and Butler's composure has made a huge difference. On top of that, Butler's been helping the younger guys on the roster. After practice, he's been working with them, and it's paying off. The bench has looked sharper, more focused. The role players are stepping up, and the team has more depth because of it. That matters down the stretch of the season. When you think about the impact in numbers, it's clear. 13 wins and 1 loss when he plays. 17.6 points, 5.7 rebounds, 5.7 assists, and 1.3 steals per game. Curry's scoring nearly 30 points per game with Butler in the lineup. His three-point shooting is over 42%. That's a recipe for success. The Warriors were stuck in the middle of the pack before this trade, sitting at 10th place, fighting just to stay in the mix. Now they look like a serious contender, and it's not just a hot streak. These numbers have been consistent over the past month. Butler's defensive versatility has given Golden State more options. He can guard multiple positions, and that's allowed them to switch more freely. The result? Opponents are shooting worse from the field against the Warriors since Butler's arrival. The defense has tightened up, and they're getting more stops. That's led to more fast breaks and easier points. By the way, if you guys enjoy these deep dives, I'll be posting every day during this season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks. Anyways, Butler. The team's pace has also picked up. Butler's been pushing the ball after rebounds, and his quick decisions have kept the tempo high. The Warriors are getting more transition buckets, and their offensive efficiency has improved. They're scoring more points per game since Butler joined, and their shooting percentages are up across the board. And it's not just the stars who've stepped up. The role players are hitting shots. The ball movement has been better. Assist numbers are higher, and the turnovers are down. Butler's calm presence has helped steady the ship. The Warriors gave Butler a 2-year, $111 million extension. And so far, it's looking like a great move. They're getting the production they need, and he's made an immediate difference in their wins and losses. The Western Conference is crowded, but Golden State's record since Butler's debut speaks for itself. They've got momentum. They're winning games, and they've been one of the best teams in the league over the past month. There's no denying how good they've been. 13 wins, 1 loss, 6 straight at one point. Butler's been a huge part of it, and the numbers show it. 17.6 points, 5.7 rebounds, 5.7 assists, 1.3 steals. Curry's 29.9 points, 9 assists, 5.9 rebounds, 1.5 steals, 42.4% shooting from 3. That's a lot of production. And it's why the Warriors have been so good since Butler showed up. But let's break down exactly why Butler makes everything so much smoother in Golden State, starting with offense. Jimmy Butler makes Golden State's offense so much better, and the stats tell the whole story. Since Butler showed up, the Warriors' offense has become more efficient, more balanced, and way more dangerous. What makes this even crazier is that it's not just about Butler's scoring, it's everything else. His ability to draw attention without hijacking the offense, his passing, his decision-making, his gravity without chucking threes, it all fits perfectly with the rest of the roster. The team is moving better, shooting better, and getting cleaner, looks all over the floor. And when you look at how everyone's numbers have jumped since Butler arrived, it's obvious why. Butler's true shooting percentage is 62.7%. That's elite. It puts him in the 87th percentile league-wide. For context, Steph Curry's true shooting is 61.3%, which is also elite and sits in the 82nd percentile. Having both of them operating at such high efficiency means defenders can't focus on just one guy. If they do, the other makes them pay. This takes all kinds of pressure off Curry, who doesn't need to take tough shots just to keep the team in games. The shot quality improves instantly. Moses Moody, with his 58.3% true shooting, benefits from this too. He gets way more open looks now, and the rhythm of the offense allows him to stay confident. The shot quality stats are a huge part of this. Butler's shot quality rating is 65.6, which lands him in the 72nd percentile. That's already strong, but Curry's shot quality is at 100. That's maxed out. Perfect. Curry hasn't had this many good looks in years, and Moody is right there too, with a shot quality rating of 67.8. That's 76th percentile. When Butler's out there, the ball doesn't stick. His passing and decision-making create extra space, and it's showing up in the numbers. Now look at Butler's free throw rate, 61%. That's the 99th percentile. He's getting to the line on more than half his shot attempts, and that changes everything. He slows the game down. He forces defenders into foul trouble. That gives Curry room to operate without defenders being overly physical with him. Curry's free throw rate is 21.6%, which is middle of the pack. But with Butler applying pressure at the rim, Curry doesn't need to drive into contact as much. And JK, who's only played one game since coming back, already posted a free throw rate of 37.9% in that game. That's 91st percentile. Butler opens lanes, and JK knows what to do when the space is there. Even Draymond Green has seen the benefit. His free throw rate is 28.2%, which is solid and lands him in the 71st percentile. Draymond doesn't have to do as much initiating. That's freed him up to take more efficient shots and attack mismatches without forcing bad plays. The entire flow of the offense is better. What Butler's not doing is just as important. He's not jacking up threes. His three-point attempt rate is 15.4%. That's low, 14th percentile low, but that's by design. Curry handles the volume shooting. His three-point attempt rate is sky high at 61.9%, 86th percentile. Moody's at 56.8%. Both are getting wide open shots because Butler draws defenders inside. Even Draymond is shooting threes at a 42.9% rate. That's 50 percentile. These aren't rushed looks. These are rhythm threes because Butler's penetration and passing put the defense in constant rotation. Rebounding on the offensive glass is an underrated part of Butler's impact. He's posting an offensive rebound rate of 0.7, which puts him in the 77th percentile. Moody's at 0.9. These second chance opportunities have helped Golden State get extra possessions they were missing earlier in the season. JK, despite the one-game sample, is trending toward being a factor on the offensive glass too. Butler's effort in this area forces defenders to stay honest, and that stops teams from leaking out for easy transition points. Ball security has also improved with Butler in the lineup. His turnover percentage is just 5.1. That's elite, 93rd percentile. Curry is at 7.6%. Moody's even tighter with the ball at 6.2. JK is hovering at 7.8. Draymond, on the other hand, has struggled with an 11.6% turnover rate. That's bottom of the barrel, 11th percentile. But Butler's control of the offense reduces Draymond's risk. He's not forced to make as many difficult reads or passes. The result? Fewer costly mistakes and smoother possessions. Butler's load rating is another telling stat. He carries a load of 41.4, which is in the 87th percentile. Curry's load is massive at 54.9, which puts him in the 98th percentile. Draymond's load is 35.4. What Butler does is take enough responsibility to relieve Curry without disrupting the offense. Curry can play on or off the ball, and that unpredictability makes Golden State impossible to guard. Moody at 25.2 and JK at 37.6 benefit from having clearer roles and less pressure. Creation is one of the biggest boosts Butler brings. He's creating 6.9 shots per game, which lands him in the 88th percentile. Curry creates 12.3 shots per game. That's almost maxed out, 98th percentile. But Butler's creation allows Curry to conserve energy and hunt better shots. Draymond is still contributing with 5.6 shot creations per game. Moody's at 2.1. JK's at 4.7. Butler's ability to create shots for himself and others has spread the offense evenly, which prevents stagnation. Portability is how easily a player's game fits into different lineups. Butler scores high here too, 7.5, 87th percentile. Curry's even higher at 9.1. Draymond's at 8.4. Moody's middle of the pack at 5.3, and JK's at 1.7. Butler allows Steve Kerr to mix and match lineups without losing offensive cohesion. That's been critical. Kerr can go big or small, fast or slow, and the offense still flows. The Warriors don't have to rely on one specific rotation to function anymore. Passing has been outstanding since Butler arrived. His passer rating is 7.2. That's 90th percentile. Curry's is 6.4. Draymond leads with an 8.6 rating, 98th percentile. Moody and JK are lower, but they're not asked to create or distribute as much. Butler bridges the gap between Curry and Green, giving Golden State another reliable playmaker who makes the right reads. His passing reduces turnovers and boosts assist opportunities across the board. Butler's crafted offensive plus-minus sums up his impact perfectly. He's at 2.9, which ranks in the 96th percentile. Curry's is at 4.6, one of the best in the league at 99. Draymond's is lower at negative 1.1. Moody's hovering around neutral with 0.1. JK's at 0.2. Butler has raised the team's offensive floor. They're getting consistent, efficient offense no matter who's on the floor with him. His presence also changes how Curry operates. Curry doesn't have to carry the entire offense. His scoring remains elite at 29.9 points per game, but now he's doing it with greater efficiency. His shooting percentage from three is 42.4%. With Butler handling some of the creation load, Curry gets better looks and isn't burned out by the fourth quarter. Draymond's role has simplified. He's free to focus on directing the defense and acting as a secondary facilitator. His passing and creation numbers remain solid because he's playing within himself. Moody gets more consistent minutes and looks more comfortable. His shot quality and true shooting have held strong because he's not forced to do more than he should. JK, even in limited action, shows signs of benefiting from the improved spacing and flow. Butler's free throw rate is a cheat code for Golden State, 61%. He gets to the line and controls the tempo. This prevents opponents from running and gives Golden State a chance to set their defense. Games slow down when they need to, and the Warriors can grind out wins instead of getting into track meets. What Butler doesn't do is just as important. He's not hijacking possessions. His low three-point attempt rate means he picks his spots. He doesn't need the ball to make an impact. This has opened up the Warriors' cutting game and freed Curry to run off ball more often. Draymond's dribble handoff actions are cleaner. Moody and JK benefit from simpler reads. Everyone's role has gotten easier. The impact shows up in lineup versatility. Butler's high portability means Kerr can throw out different combinations without losing offensive identity. They can go small with Curry, Butler, Moody, JK, and Draymond. They can go big if they need to. Butler fits either way. He doesn't need the offense to run through him, but when it does, he makes the right plays. Golden State's offensive improvement since Butler joined has been massive. They've gone from inconsistent to consistent, from scattered to smooth, and it's not a fluke. Butler's numbers prove it. Efficient shooting, high-level creation, elite passing, smart decision-making, and adaptability have made him the perfect addition. And it's not just about him. Curry's numbers are thriving. Moody's efficiency has held steady. Draymond's playmaking has sharpened. JK's role is clearer. Every piece fits better because Butler does all the little things. He takes pressure off everyone, connects plays, and makes life easier for the entire team. They're getting to the free throw line more. They're turning the ball over less. They're shooting a higher percentage on better quality shot. They've added creation without sacrificing efficiency. They've expanded their lineup flexibility. And they've done it all without anyone having to take a step back. Jimmy Butler has made Golden State's offense way better. The stats leave no doubt. And clearly, he's helped on the other side of the ball too. Jimmy Butler's made the Warriors' defense so much better. And the numbers are crazy. You can feel the difference just by looking at how every player stepped up since he got there. This isn't about one guy carrying the load. It's a full team effort, but Butler's presence has completely changed their defensive identity, and the stats prove it. They were already good. Now they're a problem. Deflections are always a good place to start because they show how active the defense is and how disruptive they're being. Before Butler, they had energy on the defensive end, but now it's relentless. Butler's averaging 1 deflection per game, which doesn't jump off the page, and it's only in the 5th percentile, but the impact on his teammates is obvious. Moses Moody is now averaging 3.3 deflections a game. That's in the 85th percentile. Draymond Green's bringing in 3 deflections a game, good for the 78th percentile. Even Steph Curry's getting in on it with 2.4 deflections per game, putting him in the 58th percentile. JK and Looney are each averaging 2.1 deflections, which lands them in the 44th percentile. So Butler's energy isn't just showing up in his own stats, it's making everyone more active. Now if you move on to RADTUB, which measures how often defensive actions turn into turnovers, Butler's sitting at 0.3. That's the 78th percentile, which is huge. He's taking plays and turning them into changes of possession at a much higher rate than most players. Draymond matches him at 0.3, also in the 78th percentile. JK's right there with them too. Moody, on the other hand, is right at 0, which puts him in the 50th percentile. That's average, nothing special. Then there's Looney at negative 0.7 and Curry at negative 0.6. Looney's in the 6th percentile and Curry's in the 9th. Those numbers aren't pretty, but with Butler and Draymond leading the charge, the overall turnover creation has gotten better. They're forcing teams to cough it up more often, and that's directly tied to Butler's addition. Defensive rebounding is another area where you can see the difference. Butler's pulling in 0.5 defensive rebounds per game. That's in the 67th percentile. It's not elite, but it's consistent. Looney's been an absolute beast on the boards, grabbing 1.7 defensive rebounds per game, and that puts him in the 97th percentile. Draymond's right behind with 1 defensive rebound, good for 88th percentile. Curry's adding 0.7, 77th percentile. Moody's down at 0.1, putting him in the 48th percentile. JK's at negative 1, which drops him all the way down to the 21st percentile. But Butler's steady presence helps here too. He's not the main rebounder, but he adds another layer to a rebounding group that's anchored by Looney and Draymond. Now let's talk about rim defense. Butler's giving up 2.8 at the rim, which lands him in the 19th percentile. That's not where he shines, but that's fine because the rest of the team picks up the slack. Looney's rim defense is elite, allowing negative 8.5, which is in the 92nd percentile. Draymond's at negative 7.3, good for 88th percentile. Curry's at negative 5.6, and that's impressive for a guard, landing him in the 80th percentile. Moody's at negative 2, 59th percentile. JK's at negative 0.6, 46th percentile. So Butler doesn't have to be a dominant rim protector on this squad. Looney and Draymond are controlling the paint, and even Curry's holding his own. Butler's strength lies in his versatility, which lets the Warriors' funnel drives exactly where they want them to go. Speaking of that, rim frequency tells you how often opponents are even getting shots up at the rim. Moody leads the team here at 35.3%, landing in the 40th percentile. Looney's at 35.7%, 44th percentile. JK's at 32.6%, 22nd percentile. Draymond's allowing 31.2%, 17th percentile. And Curry's at 30.3%, 13th percentile. Even with opponents getting a decent number of shots up at the rim, the combination of Looney and Draymond's rim defense keeps the paint locked down. Butler's presence on the perimeter helps limit easy drives, which makes their whole interior defense stronger. Block percentage shows how often they're rejecting shots, and Butler's at 1.1%, which puts him in the 35th percentile. Not spectacular, but again, he doesn't need to do everything. Draymond's at 3.3%, good for 85th percentile. Looney's right there too, at 2.6%, 76th percentile. Moody and JK both chip in with 1.9% block rates, putting them in the 62nd percentile. Curry's even adding 1.3%, which is in the 42nd percentile. Butler may not be swatting shots left and right, but his presence makes it easier for everyone else to get in position for blocks. Versatility is where Butler really stands out. His versatility score is 84, putting him in the 86th percentile. That means he's able to guard multiple positions and switch across different matchups effectively. Moody's even higher with a score of 97, landing him in the 97th percentile. JK's right behind him with a 95 score, good for 96th percentile. Curry's versatility is at 51, 58th percentile, which works for his role. Draymond's lower at 27, 38th percentile. Looney's at 6, 22nd percentile. But that's the nature of their positions. Butler's ability to guard wings, guards, and even some bigs gives them endless options. It makes switching seamless and keeps opponents guessing. Personal fouls per game are often overlooked, but they're crucial. Butler's at negative 1.6, which is insane. He's literally in the 100th percentile. Curry's at negative 1.3, 98th percentile. Moody's at negative 0.1, 61st percentile. JK's at 0, 55th percentile. Draymond's at 1.1, 16th percentile. And Looney's at 2.1, 4th percentile. So Butler's discipline is off the charts. He's playing high-level defense without fouling, and that's huge. Staying out of foul trouble means he's on the floor longer, doing his job. Crafted DPM gives you the clearest picture of how all these stats add up to actual defensive value. Butler's crafted DPM is 1.1, which is in the 80th percentile. That's a high-level number. Draymond's sitting at 4, and that's as good as it gets. 100th percentile. Looney's at 1.7, 90th percentile. Moody's at negative 0.4, 35th percentile. JK's at negative 0.2, 42nd percentile. Curry's at negative 0.9, 19th percentile. So while not everyone's numbers are perfect, Butler's addition and Draymond's leadership pushed the team's overall defense up several notches. Butler's strengths are all over the stat sheet. His 0.3 RA DTOV means he's generating turnovers efficiently. His 1.1 crafted DPM shows he's preventing points at a high rate. His 84 versatility score puts him near the top of the league when it comes to switching and guarding multiple positions. And that personal foul rate of negative 1.6 means he's almost never giving up freebies at the line. All of those things matter more than a single flashy number. Draymond's still the backbone of their defense. His 4 crafted DPM and 3.3 block percentage show that he's leading the way. Looney's rim protection is elite, with that negative 8.5 at the rim and 92nd percentile, showing how hard it is to score on him inside. Moody and JK have become 2 of the most versatile defenders on the roster, with versatility scores in the high 90s. Curry's doing his part, limiting fouls and getting his hands in passing lanes with those 2.4 deflections per game. What makes this work is how they've all meshed together since Butler joined. He didn't have to be the star defender, he just had to make them sharper, and he's done exactly that. His arrival has pushed everyone to be more disciplined, more locked in, and more connected on the defensive end. And it's showing up in every single stat that matters. They're forcing more turnovers because Butler's pressuring the ball and Draymond's cutting off passing lanes. They're grabbing more defensive boards because Butler's boxing out and Looney's crashing the glass. They're locking down the rim because Butler's keeping drivers away and Draymond's waiting inside. They're switching everything because Butler, Moody, and JK can guard almost anyone. This isn't about one guy saving a bad defense. It's about Butler elevating a good one into something much more complete. He's made them harder to score on at every level. Perimeter, mid-range, and inside. His presence gives them flexibility, and his discipline sets the tone. They're committing fewer fouls, forcing more mistakes, and controlling the pace of the game on the defensive end. When you stack up all these numbers, it's clear Butler's made a major difference. He's brought consistency, effort, and versatility. Draymond's still the leader, Looney's still the anchor, and Moody and JK are still flying around. But Butler's made them a true unit, one that's covering every inch of the court, making life miserable for opponents. And the stats back all of it up. The Warriors' defense is better because Jimmy Butler's there. Jimmy Butler changed everything in Golden State. That's not an exaggeration. It's a fact. Ever since he suited up for the Warriors, the entire vibe of this team has shifted. They've gone from a team fighting to stay afloat to one of the hottest teams in the league. And it's not just about wins and losses, though they're stacking wins like crazy. It's about how they're playing, how they're defending, and how they're closing games. Butler's fingerprints are all over it. You can feel it in the way they communicate on the floor. The energy is different. There's a sharpness, an edge that wasn't there earlier this season. Before Butler arrived, Golden State's defense looked out of sync. They were giving up too many easy buckets, blowing assignments, and scrambling late in possessions. Now, they're dialed in. They're switching without hesitation, rotating like a machine, and making life miserable for opposing offenses. That kind of cohesion doesn't happen overnight, but Butler's leadership and discipline made it click fast. He brought toughness with him, not the loud, flashy kind, the quiet, unshakable kind, the kind of toughness where you show up every night, lock in, and do your job no matter who's in front of you. It's contagious. You see it in Draymond Green, who's playing some of his best ball in years. You see it in Moses Moody and JK, who've both taken steps forward as defenders. And you see it in Steph Curry, who's recharged and more focused on the defensive end than he's been all season. Butler's presence has given them an identity. This isn't a team that's just trying to outscore everybody anymore. They're trying to stop people first. They're getting stops, turning those stops into transition opportunities, and controlling the pace of games. They're dictating terms now instead of reacting. And it all starts with Butler. He's brought a level of versatility that Golden State desperately needed. Before the trade, their defensive versatility was limited. They had guys who could defend, but not enough who could switch onto multiple positions and hold their ground. Butler fixed that. He guards wings, guards, and even bigger forwards when he needs to. That flexibility has opened everything up. The Warriors can switch almost every action without worrying about mismatch. They're forcing teams into bad shots, late clock situations, and rush decisions, and they're doing it consistently. The numbers show it, but you don't even need stats to see the difference. Just watch how they close out games now. Before Butler got there, they struggled. Late in the fourth, they'd blow leads, miss rotations, and fail to get stops when they needed them most. Now, they're locking teams down in crunch time. They're getting big stops, grabbing tough rebounds, and finishing games strong. Butler's composure and decision-making have been huge there. He doesn't panic, he doesn't rush, he's steady, and that calm has spread to the entire team. What's crazy is how fast it's all happened. It's only been a handful of games, but it feels like Butler's been a Warrior for years. He fits their style perfectly. He moves the ball, he defends hard, and he doesn't care about the spotlight. He's there to win, and Golden State has responded to that in a big way. Steph Curry has benefited more than anyone. With Butler taking on tough defensive assignments and handling playmaking duties, Curry's been able to get back to what he does best: running off screens, spotting up, and knocking down shots. He's fresher late in games because he's not carrying the entire load anymore. His defense has improved too. With Butler and Draymond setting the tone, Curry's picking up steals, fighting through screens, and playing with more energy on that end. It's all connected. Draymond's been energized as well. Butler's toughness and versatility have allowed Draymond to roam more, take more chances, and make more plays as a help defender. They're working together like they've been teammates for years. Both are physical, smart, and fearless. They're the backbone of the Warriors' defense now, and they're thriving in those roles. The younger guys have stepped up too. Moody's defense has taken a big leap. JK, when he's been healthy, has shown more focus and discipline on that end. Even the bench guys are buying in. Butler's leadership isn't loud, but it's effective. He leads by example. He does the dirty work, plays hard, and holds everyone accountable. The result? Golden State looks like a completely different team. They're defending at a high level, closing games strong, and playing with confidence. They're no longer just hoping to make the playoffs. They're a team nobody wants to face. 13 wins and 1 loss with Butler says it all. And it's not just the defense that's improved. Butler's impact on the offense has been huge too. He's given them another playmaker, another guy who can create his own shot, and another option in late game situations. He doesn't need to dominate the ball, but when the game slows down, he can get a bucket or make the right pass. That balance has made the Warriors' offense flow smoother. They're less predictable and harder to guard. The chemistry is undeniable. Butler fits their system, their culture, and their mentality. He's made the stars better. He's made the role players better. And he's made the team better. Golden State has gone from fighting for a spot in the play-in to looking like a real threat in the Western Conference. They're winning games, they're playing hard, and they're defending like their lives depend on it. Jimmy Butler changed everything in Golden State. And if they keep playing like this, they're going to be a problem for anybody who lines up against them. If you guys enjoyed this, I'll be posting every day during this season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.